All right, let's get right into it. Every once in a while, a company goes public and doesn't just make a splash on Wall Street, it causes a tidal wave. And that is exactly what happened with Figma, a company that first revolutionized design and then did the exact same thing to the stock market.
So get this. On its very first day of trading, Figma stock didn't just go up, it absolutely exploded. We're talking a 250% surge. This wasn't just a good IPO. It was a legendary one that basically turned a nearly $20 billion company into a $65 billion giant, seemingly overnight.
And you have to understand the context here. While Figma was having this unbelievable debut, the rest of the market was in a total nosedive. Seriously? Sharp declines everywhere, all thanks to fears about new trade tariffs and a really weak jobs report. So Figma didn't just win. It won while swimming against a powerful current of bad news. Which, of course, leads us to the big question, right? In a market that's nervous and unsteady, how on earth did a tool for designers become the hottest thing on Wall Street? Well, the answer is a fascinating story about revolution, a huge rivalry, and an all-in bet on the future of AI.
So first, to really get why Figma is so valuable, you need to understand the absolute mess it cleaned up. Before Figma came along, digital design was just chaotic and siloed.
This really shows you the before and after. On the left, you've got the old way, total chaos. Designers, developers, marketers, all emailing different versions of files back and forth. It was a nightmare. Then, on the right, you have the Figma revolution. One single space right in your browser where the entire team can work together at the same time. It basically turned design from a solo activity into a multiplayer game. And the effect of that change? It's pretty staggering. Just look at this breakdown of who's using Figma. Only about a third of their users are actually designers. The other 2/3? They're developers, product managers, marketers, you name it. Figma didn't just build a better mousetrap. It created a shared language for the entire company. Now, when you make that much noise and grow that fast, you're going to get noticed. And sure enough, the undisputed king of creative software, Adobe, came knocking. And that's when things got really dramatic. The whole saga was a whirlwind. In 2022, Adobe drops this bombshell announcement. They want to buy Figma. But by late 2023, regulators over in Europe stepped in and blocked the whole thing. They were worried it would create an unstoppable monopoly. And just like that, the deal was dead. And what a deal it was supposed to be. Adobe offered $20 billion. Let that sink in. This wasn't just Adobe saying, hey, you guys are doing great. This was Adobe saying, you are a genuine threat to our entire kingdom. But the regulators, they saw a real danger. Their thinking was pretty simple. If you let Adobe just buy up its most exciting competitor, you'd kill innovation and hurt the millions of people and teams who had built their workflows around this new, collaborative way of doing things. Now here's the kicker. When the deal fell apart, Adobe had to pay Figma a breakup fee, a $1 billion breakup fee. But you know what? This wasn't a consolation prize. For Figma, this was a war chest, and they didn't waste a single second putting it to work. With a fresh $1 billion in the bank and their independence guaranteed, Figma turned on a dime and went all in on the next massive wave in technology, artificial intelligence. And they were incredibly smart about how they used that cash. They didn't just park it in an account. They immediately poured it into buying the one thing you absolutely need for world-class AI, massive amounts of GPU computing power. They were building an engine for the future, and they used that engine to build out this entirely new vision for their product. It's not just about design anymore, not by a long shot. They now cover the whole process, from brainstorming an idea all the way to shipping the final product. And at the core of all this is a new tool called Figma Make, and it's kind of magic. You can type a simple text prompt like you see on the left, and it generates a real, working, and totally editable user interface on the right, code and all. This isn't just another cool AI feature, it's a completely new way to think about creating things for the screen. This all points to Figma's huge new ambition. They don't call themselves a design tool anymore. Their new identity? The front-end collaborative development operating system. I know, it's a mouthful, but what it really means is they want to be the one central hub where your entire team, plus AI, comes together to imagine, build, and launch products.
So, with this huge pivot to AI, the entire landscape shifted. The fight wasn't just Figma versus Adobe anymore. Suddenly, it was about something much, much bigger.
You see, Figma has brilliantly positioned itself as one corner of a new power triangle. You've got OpenAI acting as the AI brain. You've got Microsoft providing the cloud and the operating system. And what's Figma's role? It's the interface. It's the creative canvas where a human can actually access and use all that power.
And that, right there, is the billion-dollar idea. That's the real reason behind that sky-high valuation. Because if you control the main interface for how people create with AI, you're in a position to control the future of how all digital products are made. It's an incredibly powerful place to be.
So, the big question is, does this massive bet on AI and collaboration actually pay the bills? Is it a healthy business? Well, let's just say the numbers tell a pretty clear story. Just take a look at the growth of their most valuable customers. These are the big companies spending over $100,000 a year. That number has exploded, nearly doubling in just over a year. It's proof that their strategy of becoming an essential platform for entire corporations is absolutely working.
And this number might be even more impressive. A net dollar retention rate of 132%. What that means is that customers aren't just sticking around, they're actually spending 32% more with Figma year after year. That's a sign of a product that's not just liked, it's becoming totally indispensable.
So in the end, Figma's incredible IPO is way more than just one company's success story. It's a huge signal to the entire market that after a bit of a dry spell, investors are starving for tech companies that are innovative, growing like crazy, and, crucially, profitable. Figma may have just kicked the door open for a whole new wave of major tech IPOs.
But it all leaves us with one last fascinating question to chew on. As artificial intelligence becomes less of a tool and more of a true co-pilot in everything we create, who is really in the driver's seat? Is it the human with the spark of an idea, or is it the platform that can turn that spark into reality?